You might be wondering why an old man would stand here and talk about habits like there's some kind of monster under the bed. It's because they are, just quieter. And I'm not here to scare you for fun. I'm here because I've watched good people, smart people, get their lives slowly stolen by small daily choices, not by tragedy, not by bad luck, by patterns they defended right up until those patterns owned them. So let me give you 5 habits that can ruin your life, not in theory, in practice, from experience. 1. Waiting to feel ready. You tell yourself, once I'm motivated, I'll start. You tell yourself, once I'm confident, I'll apply. You tell yourself, once the timing is right, I'll change. Listen, readiness is a lie that feels responsible. Life doesn't reward the person who felt ready. It rewards the person who moved while they were still shaky, while they were still embarrassed, while they still didn't know what they were doing. And here's the price you pay for waiting. The years start stacking quietly. Then one day you look around and realize you've become an expert at preparing and a beginner at living. 2. Keeping the wrong people close because you hate being alone. This one ruins people in a very polite way. You keep the friend who drains you, the partner who isn't that bad, the circle that laughs when you try to improve, then calls it just joking. You keep them because loneliness feels like failure. But let me tell you something I learned too late. Being alone is heavy, but being with the wrong people is heavier. Wrong people don't always punch you. Sometimes they just keep you small. They normalize your worst habits. They make your standards feel dramatic. They train you to doubt your own instincts. If you want a clean life, you can't build it in a dirty room. 3. Living like consequences don't count if they're delayed. This is how most lives fall apart. Not with an explosion, with a slow leak. A little overspending, a little lying, a little I'll fix it later, a little more junk in your body, a little more avoidance in your relationships, a little more scrolling instead of sleeping. You might be thinking, but it's not that serious. That's exactly the problem. Some consequences arrive with sirens. The ones that ruin you usually arrive with silence. They show up as debt you can't breathe under, health you can't buy back, trust you can't rebuild, time you can't rewind. Whatever you're doing that you hope doesn't count, counts. 4. Making promises you don't keep to yourself. People think self-respect is confidence. Self-respect is credibility. It's when you tell yourself you'll do something and you do it, even if it's small, especially if it's small, because every time you break your word to yourself, you teach your brain one lesson. My decisions don't matter. Then your life starts feeling foggy, unstable, like you can't trust your own steering wheel. And if you can't trust yourself, you'll reach for anything that gives you relief. Food, attention, substances, drama, impulse buys, anything to cover the quiet shame of not being who you keep promising you'll be. Start tiny if you have to, but make a promise you can keep, then keep it. That's how you rebuild a backbone. 5. Needing to be liked more than you need to be free. This one is a cage with good manners. You say yes when you mean no. You laugh at jokes that hurt you. You bite your tongue until it becomes your personality. You keep the peace until there's no you left to keep. And you might be wondering, isn't being nice a good thing? Being kind is good. Being scared is not. If you live for approval, you'll rent out your life to anyone willing to frown at you. And I'm telling you, there are people out there who can sense a person who won't disappoint them. And they will use that like a key. Freedom begins the first time you disappoint someone on purpose, because you refuse to betray yourself. Now, before you walk away and say, that was intense, let me make it useful. If you recognize yourself in any of these, don't turn it into self-hate. That's another trap.